Welcome to this week's episode of Listen to Your Coaches. I am your coach, Mike Wilkins, here with Coach Will Morrow. And behind the scenes, we've got young Max Gerald. This week, we're going to tell you about a lot of cool stuff, pretty much everything we know about MMA and more. We're going to give you all the right picks every time and on time. Coach Will, let's get this show started.
All right. Well, I think the first thing we got to talk about is what we're wearing.
That's right.
We've got some pretty cool gear here. Mike, you got the hat and the bowling shirt.
That's right. I'll take you right down the lanes right now.
I got the sweats and the regular T-shirt. So, Mike, if someone else wanted to wear some awesome Listen to Your Coaches gear, what should they do?
You should DM me, and I'll see what I can do on getting I was just going to find a way where I could get the gear and then upcharge you for the gear. No, you should visit our newly minted website, listentoyourcoaches.com. That's where you can find updates on the podcast, other things such as that. It looks really cool. And you can also get involved in some of your Listen to Your Coaches merch. I do wish that this shirt that I'm wearing was a one of one. I'm actually not too pumped that you guys can also get this super cool shirt, but
it's all right.
It is available.
Your hat is a one of one, though.
My hat is a one of one. You can get the hat, but I had them remove the microphone logo on the back of it, so this one will be a one of one.
Yeah. Because that was initially supposed to be this design, but it was too...
Yeah, it's too small on the hat to really notice what's going on.
And we couldn't get the words on it. This one I think says a podcast by the best coaches you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And that one, doesn't have that. But
so yeah, that's that. So yeah, I mean, buy our merch. If you buy our merch, a portion of the proceeds go to feed a young hungry fighter. His name's Max, and he's so poor. Max, tell the people how poor you are.
Very poor. I'm. If I was up front right now, I would be rocking all the merch, telling everyone to buy it.
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that?
I think
it sounded
so.
like a roar. I think Max's tummy is rumbling from not having eaten
He ran out of
because
ramen.
he's so poor. We need you guys to buy this merch so Max can eat. All right, cool.
One other thing. Speaking of products, dude. So I did that video with Britt, the Midos technique.
Oh, yeah.
And Dr. Rick was nice enough
technique of the week
to hook me up with a case of Midos, right? So I got to try some of that.
That's cool.
I've only had 3 or 4 of them so far, and I don't know if it's placebo or not, but I think I felt a little edge from it. So we got that little bottle right there. Shout out to Midos.
Shout out to Midos.
Made by our Stout's own Dr. Rick. So
that's right.
Check that out.
Yes. Dr. Rick has not given me any, which is highly concerning.
Hey, I mean, the show needs sponsors, you know what I mean? So.
Just saying, Dr. Rick, weird. Really weird. All right, cool. Let's move it. All right, so we're going on to our UFC Fight Night review, okay? Let's start with, actually, how do you want to do it? Do you want to talk about the gambling?
Yeah, let's talk about that
first. Should we
first.
Start with that?
That's more interesting than the fights, in my opinion.
Okay, so... if you were not here last week, we're doing a little competition and we're running it up through International Fight Week. So International Fight Week will end our competition. What we are doing is we are starting with 20 units to gamble with. This allows everybody who is legally able to get involved the ability to get involved at whatever budget range you have. Okay, that way our units do not have to be the same. Okay, so if I want to bet, $10 a fight and Max is just struggling to scrape together any money for any type of ramen, and he can only afford to bet 10 cents a fight, right? We can still get in and do this because it's based off of your unit, right? So in that example, I would have a $10 unit, Max would have a 10-cent unit, but we are only judged off of our unit. So you start with a 20-unit bankroll. A few people have messaged me. They're taking part in the contest with us. One of our very own coaches, Josh Polance, and my little jiu-jitsu buddy, Lucas Jones. Yeah, so I don't think anybody did really well this weekend.
No.
Except, so Polance was definitely pulling the trigger, right? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't able to keep up. I had some stuff going on. Wasn't able to keep up with him. But Polance put a lot in. I know Lucas Jones. He used all 20 units.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But I am happy to report he came out ahead. He is up 1.5 units.
Oh, good for him.
So I still have to do the math on Polance's units. But I am down a unit. You are down a unit. And Max, you are down a unit. Okay, so we are all down to 19 units with Lucas Jones leading the charge, having wagered 20 units, but up 1.5.
Now, Mike, do you want to describe the bet you made and why?
Yeah, so I wanted to take this a little more serious than we do our typical fight picks, right? On our typical fight picks, you guys are like, hey, here goes the fights. We're picking these fights. And, dude, to be honest, sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't know who either of these dudes are.
Yeah.
Right? I'm picking this guy because his name sounds cool,
Right.
right? It reminds me of, like, the way that, like, my mom would pick, like, March Madness brackets.
Dude.
She'd be like, oh, I'm choosing them because I like their mascot. Or, oh, I like those colors, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, not knowing who's the better team or
Dude,
whatever.
that was me in high school, and I like always did super well. The only thing I took into account was team height, and I think I had like one or two other things, and other than that, it was just whatever I think is cool, and I won a couple of them.
There you go. So I want to take this a little more serious, and none of the undercard, actually no fight on. I almost didn't make a bet.
I was right there.
I was
as
like,
well.
I was like, nothing's really speaking to me. But I did take Josh Emmett. When I got him, at the time I got him, he was running at a plus 250, which means had he won, I would have profited 2.5 units. So I'd be at 22.5. You also took Josh Emmett. You took him a little later, which actually you got him at a plus 270, which would have profited you 2.7 units. But lo and behold, he did not win the fight.
So part of the reason I took it was contest wise. I knew I had him at better odds than you. So the worst case is what we are tied up. Best case, I still would have been up a little bit more. But before I even knew that, I did think it was a good idea. But I'm interested to know, why did you think it was a good idea?
Josh Emmett posted bet the house.
Right on.
And that gave me some confidence. And I was like, no, I will not bet the house. But I will bet a single solitary unit on you.
So I think,
what if I put all 20 units on him?
that, well, you would have listened to his
That would have
advice,
been the house.
and you would have been wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good bet because Emmett, despite being old, like he looks like he's in tremendous shape, and even though he is older, like even in his last few fights, he's like looked like, age doesn't seem to be the issue with him, and he hits freakishly hard. And Lerone Murphy, who did he fight last, Max?
We watched it. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he
It was
fought
on-
Dan Ige.
Was that not on the Holloway Taporia card?
I believe it was.
Okay.
In Abu Dhabi, yeah.
Ooh, I remember.
Now, I didn't remember he fought Dan Ige, and Dan Ige obviously hits hard. But
I remember he fought Dan Ige, and I can't believe you don't remember he fought Dan Ige.
But I do
Blasphemy.
remember that he got hurt in it.
You know what I remember? I remember that I made one of the best betting plays of all time. On
was that in that fight?
That was that fight.
Dude, that was an incredible.
Right? What was it? Ige was a dog. He came out as an underdog, like let's call it plus 200. I took Ige pre-fight. Ige drops Murphy in the first round and is ahead, right? So I go in and I see that they're offering me a positive cash out. So I take the positive cash out. I go ahead, I turn around, and I put that money on Murphy, who
As a
is
dog.
now an underdog because he lost the first round, and then he comes back and wins the fight.
Dude.
So yeah,
I am very much not like into gambling, but I was fired up about that. I was like, dude, that's so sick. But anyways, in that fight, I remember Murphy getting hurt, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if his chin's a little suspect. And with someone like Emmett, you know what I mean, like that. So
yeah, especially with Emmett.
at plus money, I was like, I think this is a good opportunity. So that's why I snuck that bet in last minute as well.
So I would like to talk some more bets. So that was our bet. Like I said, like Lucas Jones, he put all 20 units out. He said that if Emmett would have won by knockout, he would be up like 60 some units. Which brings me to Max. So
He did a 7-leg parlay. That's all he did. No,
yeah. So Max, you have me and your names mixed up there because
You're right. I do. I'll fix that.
So Max, his parlay was intense. to say the least. It came back at a plus 6,958. That means for 1 unit, he would have profited 69 and a half units, right? Like that would have, like I told Max, as soon as he sent it in to me, I was like, if this hits,
Insurmountable.
You've won.
Yeah.
Like we're not catching up. Yeah. No one's finishing up no one's finishing a pod like 70 units.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like no. Like you know what I mean. Think about that. Max would have went from 20 units to 90 units. He'd be playing with 90 units the rest of the time. Like, dude, it would be insurmountable.
But needless to say,
naturally, like all long parlays, it didn't work. So Max is down, but he did only wager 1 unit, so Max is down 1 unit.
We got to calculate Josh's, but so far Lucas Jones in the lead, huh?
Yeah, so far Lucas Jones in the lead, the only one who is plus money right now. So, thanks guys for jumping in, and listen, it's not too late for anybody else to jump in. I mean, hell, everybody's only like 1 unit off of the 20. But what I would like you to do is either DM, if you know me all like that, you can text me, whatever. Just like keeping your results, knowing that you're starting with 20 units. So like, here's the thing, like you got to kind of like be able to separate that for yourself, right? So what I'm doing is I'm doing my whole contest through DraftKings, okay? But all my other gambling I do through FanDuel, so that way I can keep my 20 units like nice and separated on DraftKings. You guys don't have to do that, but like, you know, just keep a spreadsheet or whatever. And let me know your bets. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, no, I again
gamble with us.
I'm not really into gambling, but the contest aspect of it made it a good time.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Let's talk about the fights.
All right, you want to start with the main event?
Yeah, let's rip and tear. Let's run through them.
All right, so
20 seconds fight. Ready, set, go.
Full disclosure, watched it super tired. I thought it was relatively close, relatively uneventful. I do think that Murphy should have been the winner, but yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, you know, I saw some good takedowns out of Josh Emmett, but I think he lost the fight. I think Murphy outstruck him significantly enough to overcome the control time and the takedowns that Emmett had.
That one takedown was super sick, though. That single leg.
The single leg high lift. Yeah. Yeah.
DC style. Loved it.
DC style. Love it. Move us on. All right, Pat Sabatini, my dog, straight out of Marquez MMA. Dude, so I actually trained with him a few times in the past. Just a handful of times when I was going out to Daniel Gracie, Philly for my camps back in the day. He was a 45er, I was a 55er, and I wouldn't have known. His grappling was tremendous then. I'm sure it's been like 8 years. I'm sure it's only gotten better and better. And it appears, so as you can see, you know, in these fights, not just that, like, you know, like good ground and pound as well to like go with his like pure grappling.
Yeah, I was impressed with that. Oh, what did you think about those scores? There were a couple 10-8 rounds.
Yeah. So 2 judges gave one 10-8 round out.
That's what I meant. Like multiple judges gave one out. I didn't see it that way.
Actually, this does bring into the question. So on DraftKings, typically in my experience, gambling on fights, there's, you know, the money line. So if you guys gamble other sports, there's a lot of times a spread. You can bet the spread, which will give you certain odds. You can bet money line, which means straight up win or lose, which gives you wider odds. And then there's like an over or under, right? They have that for MMA as well. And it's usually just money line and over under. And over under typically means rounds of like, will go more than 1.5 rounds or less than 1.5 rounds. I noticed on DraftKings that they had a spread, and Pat Sabatini was a plus 7.5 dog on the spread.
Explain that to me. How's that work?
So what that means is right here, Pat Sabatini, 30-26, 30-26, 30-27. So Pat Sabatini, according to like the spread, would have beat his opponent. What would that be? That's 11.
It's all the judges' scores combined.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an 11-point differential. So that means that Pat Sabatini covered that spread like crazy because he was a plus 7.5. So what that meant for him to cover, he could have lost 30-27, 29-28, 29-28 and covered that. He could have lost.
So the plus 7 means whatever his score is, add 7, and then if that beats Burrito, then
right.
Got you. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the first time I saw it. Because I typically was using FanDuel. Like I said, I switched to DraftKings just for this contest. So yeah, interesting. Move it.
Yeah, good fight for him though. Okay.
Oh.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't paying that close attention, and this is the first fight that I watched. Of the night.
Okay, yeah. So, they say this dude is
Chung
like
Lee is the
like
Korean
Habib.
Habib, yeah.
Yeah. And he said he wants to be the Korean Marab.
Yeah.
So that kind of lets you know a little bit about his style. I mean, only 4 takedown attempts, but he's got 2 takedowns. His opponent also 2 takedowns. I mean, I just thought like he looked a level ahead.
Yeah.
Of this guy,
Yeah.
or of his opponent, Cortavius. So yeah, 11-1. What weight is this? 35s. Oh, he's in Marab's weight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting to see how his career unfolds, but I've got nothing like revolutionary to say about this. Max, do you have anything to say about this?
Not really. Like, I didn't pay super close attention to this fight, but I do think that only 2 takedowns and still getting over 5.5 minutes of control time, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's
Especially
usually takedown.
at bantamweight where you got a bunch of scrambly dudes.
Yeah. You know what that is? That's some good ROI. Let's move it. Oh, Brad Tavares.
Oh, I didn't
versus
see
Gerald
this
Meerschaert.
fight, but
You didn't see this fight?
I did not.
Bro. Oh, let me tell you all about it. Gerald Meerschaert went 0 for 8 on takedowns. The striking was relatively competitive, and the scores showed as such, as this was a 2-1 fight.
Now, how was the
unanimous
entertainment
decision.
factor for you? What were you thinking in the middle of watching this fight?
Well, I was thinking like maybe like someone could shoot me in the head. But no one did. So whatever, move it on.
Was it a bad fight?
It wasn't a bad fight. It's just like Gerald Meerschaert's such a good grappler. I want to see him on the ground.
Yeah.
I like watching grappling exchanges in MMA.
Dude, especially, what you just said is really important too, is like when you have 2 really good grapplers and they end up just striking, it's like, guys, this isn't what we're here for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's why people were so upset with Bo against
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig, exactly. Yeah, it's like we want to see people where they're at their best, you know? And obviously, if you have a Damian Maia, Anderson Silva situation, you want to keep it in your area. So, like, no one faults, like, no one's like, oh, Anderson, why don't you go down and grapple with them? You know what I mean? But if you guys are both grapplers, grapple.
Yeah. No, I got you. Okay, so we got, how do you say it? Ode?
I think it's O'Day.
O'Day.
Yeah, O'Day.
So O'Day Osborne cracks, man. So me and young Max, we were admiring O'Day's power at the flyweight division. He pretty much just smoked this boy. Just put him clean out with what was that, a counter right?
Yeah, it was a fade away. I think it was a right hand, but he just like faded back real nice at an angle.
Pull right, yeah.
And Garul was undefeated before this. He was a good prospect. You see, he was like minus 300 at close.
Oh, wow.
So it was a pretty big upset. You know, he hadn't even
cool.
been beaten before, let alone finished like that.
Well, we love to see explosive guys at flyweight.
So we watched O'Day's. You do like 13-8. Gosh.
Oh, dude, I thought that said 3. Wow.
So O'Day's record, not great, but I swear we watched his last fight, and he might have lost it, potentially, but we were impressed with him. Who'd he fight?
He was, let me figure out who he fought, but
I
he
swear
was
we
on
see
a
that at flyweight a lot.
he was on a 3-fight losing streak before this fight, so this was kind of like
Maybe I've lost a couple of his fights where I like, during the fight, I'm like, super impressed with him, and then he doesn't win.
He fought at the Sphere card. He fought Lazy Boy.
That's it.
Ronaldo Rodriguez.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
okay.
it. That's the one. That's the fight I'm thinking of. All right, let's move it. Oh my gosh. Bro, tell me you saw this fight.
I did not. I haven't seen anything else.
All right, so this is Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin.
So this is the bad decision?
What do you mean?
He tried.
I heard that there was a poor decision.
There was one judge who gave one scorecard on this fight that was unreal bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
you guys
the right
texted
guy
about
won.
this. Okay, gotcha.
The right guy won this fight.
Okay.
In a very terrible manner. So Torres Finney, like literally just like the most grab you and hold you.
Oh, that's
right.
Isn't he like 5'8"?
Yeah, take you down, hold you on the cage, just like not movement, nothing at all.
Yeah.
To his credit, post fight he was very accepting. And open. He was like, that fight was a dud. he also said, he was like, I don't know why. He was like, I felt great coming into this fight,
Yeah.
and it was just a dud. He was like, I've had fights where I felt terrible going in, and like, just was awesome. And he's like, yeah, it's like, I mean, like it was a dud fight.
It's cool when guys are honest about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not
Now,
like, "Oh, it was a great performance."
Here goes, like, so like, you know, like he was taking a lot of heat for that, but he like owned up to like stuff. Here goes the crazy thing about it, right? Like, he got scored a 30-27 against him,
Interesting.
which, like, max, like, wildly impossible.
Now let me ask you this, guys, because I'm seeing significant strikes 4-23. Now, what does that actually mean? It can mean a lot of different things. I'm also seeing 8 for 20 or for 17 on takedowns, 13 minutes of control time.
13 minutes and 16 seconds of control time in a 15-minute fight. That means that there was 1 minute and 44 seconds in which he was not in control.
And in my mind, unless, what's this guy's name? Valentine? Unless he really cracked Finney hard.
I mean, look at all the knockdowns. That kind of lets you know.
Oh, there you go. None.
None. Yeah, no knockdowns. And like, look, so also look at the total strikes. 126 total strikes, 39 significant strikes. Okay, 126 total strikes. He was in control for 16 seconds. He was in control for a minute, or for 13-16. That means there was a minute and 44 seconds that this guy had to throw 126 strikes, which tells you that the majority of those strikes were thrown defensively off his back.
Yeah, yeah.
This fight arguably was I mean, I kind of had it 30-27.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like even the 29-28s were just like it was like almost like a punishment for being so blind.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Tony Weeks scored it 30-27 against him, which basically, in my opinion, should bar Tony Weeks from ever judging again.
Wow.
It's the thing with it. It's honestly despicable and dirty. It's despicable and dirty, and it's unjust, and it's like you can't have it. So basically, what you're saying is, if you allow this to continue, because there's no way you can justify it. You can't justify it one way or the other. So the only way that you can say why you did this was, 1, you didn't watch, or 2, you didn't like it.
Right.
And you can't score a fight based off of who you like. Right? And like, that's what he was doing. He was like, well, I didn't like that he was winning using wrestling.
Right.
Then you can't judge MMA.
Yep.
You can't judge MMA because you have to score for whoever is winning, whether if you like how they're winning or not.
And this is, I was talking about it last week, this is the exact reason why I don't consider fighting a sport, because it's so subjective, you know what I mean? And like, clearly we have, you know, decisions like this.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
All right, let's push. Pass. Oh, wait, no. What about that Reese fight?
Oh.
Yeah. Max, your time to shine.
I've been really like hoping Reese gets a win for a long time. He's had like such a rough. He was brought into the UFC to be Khamzat's like second victim in 2 weeks. They just kind of pulled him in, like, hey, you can go ahead and fight Khamzat. You know, obviously he got Khamzat,
yeah.
and then he had like two losses, got cut from the UFC, went on a tear in Cage Warriors, came back, and proceeded to lose 2 more fights. Then this guy, 9-2, coming off the Contender Series, and finally Reese was able to put it together. And like the first round, 3 knockdowns?
Yeah.
Like those were in the first like 2 minutes too. Like he just, every time he landed, he put him down, and he was doing a really good job. Like just kind of like loose. He looked like he didn't have power, but he would just kind of fade away and throw his arm, and it would just pop. Perfect accuracy.
So this fight was fight of the night, right? And let me tell you, it's very easy to see why when you look at the numbers. Look at those numbers. 133 strikes, 124 strikes. Combine those together, dude. You know what I mean? You got 257 strikes thrown in 5 minutes. This was a 1-round fight. This
okay.
round didn't leave. This round didn't go to the second round, dude.
For a second, I was thinking it was a 3-rounder. I was like, that's not. I'm trying to play along, but this is not really that. But no, 5 minutes. That's significant,
Dude. You look at those numbers compared to the numbers. Go back up to the Torres
stoppage. Okay.
Go back up to the Torres Finney fight. Look,
right.
That fight was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That fight was 200% longer, and they threw half as many strikes.
Yeah.
Literally half as many. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, dude, this was crazy action.
Now, let me, if you guys have more to say about it, keep going. But did you guys see, what's that Thai girl's name? Loma Lukbunmi? Did you
Yes.
guys watch that fight?
Yeah.
How does she look? Good striking? No.
I turned around at one point. She was in a heel hook, and I was like, all right, I'm not really interested in what's
keep
about to
moving
happen
then.
here. I mean,
Yeah.
the girl she lost to is now 6-6 in the UFC. I've never seen a 500 fighter in the UFC
I've seen sub 500 fighters in the UFC, and when I seen one of them
Really?
become a champion.
as a sitting 500.
This can't be modern era, right?
No, it's modern. This person just lost their belt recently. Just lost their belt in their last fight. Raquel Pennington at one point in time was sub 500 in the UFC.
Oh, wow.
Sub 500. She had a sub 500 record while fighting in the UFC.
Interesting.
Hold on a second. Didn't the girl who just fought Unesi, wasn't she 2-3? Or was she 3-2?
I want to say she was 3-2.
I think
but
she
could
was
have been
3-2.
Could have been. You might be right though. It could be 2. I'm not sure.
I would like to be fact checked on the Raquel Pennington, but I'm pretty sure she had a below 500 record at the beginning of one of her UFC fights, like on the tail of the tape.
Gotcha.
Right?
Interesting.
And then she became a champion, and she just lost her belt against Juliana Pena in the most recent fight, and Juliana Pena is now defending against Kayla Harrison.
Interesting.
Bo, 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 bo.
All right, we got anything else to talk about with these this fight night?
No.
I was just going to say Pennington, when she fought Jessica Andrade in 2015, went into it at 5-5.
Oh, at 5-5. Who was her fight before then?
She lost to Holly Holm right before that.
Okay, so she was 5-4 before Holly Holm.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
I'm like looking at her. I was going to make a comment about kind of holding like women in MMA to a different standard, in that regard. But like Rocky's record is crazy, dude.
Well,
She's
here goes.
fought
Also, you
everybody.
have to
That's the sticking
There's
point, right?
less.
Like Rocky was 5-5 at that point we're talking about. But like here's the thing, like everybody was top 15. There was only 15 of them
Yep.
in the UFC, so they're all top 15. Like imagine like like we saw these guys get these fights coming up the ranks. Right? Like it's like, oh, like they they just drop these women right in, and it's like, okay. And they're basically fighting like, in my opinion, kind of like an NFL schedule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like guess what? Like one team's going 500. There's going to be a team who's going to have a losing record. It's still an NFL team.
Right.
It's still an NFL team.
I think a good comparison would be like, all right, so Sean O'Malley, he had many fights outside of the top 15.
Yeah.
Like leading in, like ramping up his career, right? And that obviously like built kind of boxing style to the record you want, and also just like the excitement that you want for someone who's fighting ranked contenders. Now imagine if Sean O'Malley day one
Had to fight a top 15.
Exactly.
For his debut.
It's like,
And
his career's probably not going to look the same.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So where do we want to move to now?
I don't know, the notes aren't up, so I have no idea.
I think we're going to UFC 315. We're going to hit some fight picks.
Ooh, okay. Okay, let's check it out.
Let's check out this week's UFC card 314. I apologize. This card is taking place in Miami, right? The city where the heat is on.
I have no idea where it's taking place.
They're going to party all night to
It's
the break of
Miami.
dawn.
It's Miami? Oh, that's cool.
Welcome to Miami. A couple of the boys are heading down to Miami. I know Ryan Shorts, Joe Pronio, they're heading down to Miami. I'd imagine Gene's going as well. So some of the boys.
All right, let's start at the top of the card. Work our way down.
All right.
Give some
So
thoughts.
Alexander Volkanovski, absolutely one of my favorite fighters.
Beast.
As a person,
Yeah.
regardless of his fighting style and or ability, dude, he's so cool.
You just like watch his videos on like Instagram or something. You're just like, I want to hang out with that guy.
Dude, when he was making fun of Diego Lopez's haircut at the press conference, did you guys see that?
I'm not.
It was the best. Max, did you see when Volk was making fun of Diego Lopez's haircut at the press conference?
He was singing the 2000
Tonight
song.
will be the night
Yeah.
that I will fall for you over again.
You saying it's an emo cut?
Yeah.
Got you. Dude.
Like,
That's
look at it.
hilarious.
Look
Yeah,
at it.
It is. That's pretty funny.
Dude, he sung the whole song, and it was like, dude, it was so good.
Of course it was.
He did so good. I
He
was
can
like,
sing. He can cook. He can fight. What can't he
don't
do?
make me change my mind.
What's the Blink song that we always do for that? It's like
oh man, now
oh, it's in my head now.
I don't know, but like, dude, he would have fit in perfect because he had the moi.
Don't waste your time.
Time
I don't
on
think that's the
me.
one that we use all the time. Doesn't matter. But anyways, what do you think about the fight?
It's inside my head. Maybe.
Yed. It's not head. It's yed.
Yeah. Dude, have you ever seen those things where people online, they'll make they'll take a whole song and they'll do it with people's names.
What do you mean?
So they'll like, no, never mind, forget about it.
Okay, we'll just watch.
It's super cool.
All right, I'll check it out.
I'll put the next time I stumble across it, I'll DM it to the Listen to Your Coach's Instagram page and then put it on the story.
Sounds good.
So you guys will know what I'm talking about. In the caption, I'm going to say, this is what I was talking about. And now you guys would be able to reference right back to this moment and be like, yeah, I knew that.
So what do you think about the fight?
I think it's a good fight.
Yeah, dude, I think it's really good.
I almost said I think it's an easy win for Volk.
I don't actually. I think
I
it's
almost
gonna be,
said it.
So
But then I didn't because I don't want to jinx it.
well, let me ask you this, because my main reason is age, it's not skill. It's age, and it's the fact that he's been stopped in his past two, right? It was Ilya and Islam back to back, right? Yeah. So like, I do have concerns about his chin, and he's 36, and obviously the stats at this weight class not great. Lopez is obviously a surging star at the moment. I mean, I don't know.
I can't believe that Lopez is fighting for the title, dude.
I mean, the dude's good. I mean, obviously, I want to reference back to our argument with Max, where he thinks that Lopez washes Aljo, which is crazy.
Well, also I want to reference back to Lopez not washing Evloev.
It was like 5 days notice, dude. And Evloev is like the rightful number one contender. Like if Evloev wasn't boring, he'd be fighting Volk for the title. But
And Evloev lost to Aljo.
Do we want to take a hard pivot and
talk about Evloev fighting Pico?
Bro, dude, that's so sick.
Hard pivot, let's do it. That's what everybody wants. Yeah, dude.
Bro.
Where did that come from?
Dude, I don't know.
I didn't even know Pico got signed.
for people
he
for
was
people who
talking about
might not know much about Pico, you should fill them in.
Okay, all right. So Aaron Pico,
Hey, Aaron,
dude.
let me look in my eyes when I'm talking to you.
Yo.
Aaron Pico.
Actually, you start, because talk about his wrestling accomplishments.
Aaron Pico dropped out of high school in 9th grade to wrestle grown men instead. Yeah, no, so he didn't drop out of high school. I'm sure he like finished school, like maybe like online or homeschool or whatever. But Aaron Pico was like an age level phenom coming up wrestling. He would often beat wrestlers much older than him. I do believe he won a cadet, which is a U17 world title. He lost in the junior world championships to somebody who went on to be an all-timer, Hassan Yazdani Charati. So like, yeah, he was just like a very good age level wrestler. And in 9th grade, he won a California state title as a freshman, which is very hard to do because California, as everybody knows, is an enormous state, and they only run one division. So there's only one state champ per weight class, whereas PA, even though we're much better than them, we do have 2 state champs per weight class. We have AA and AAA, so like small school and big school.
Gotcha.
So if you're like, oh, I won the PA state title at 152 pounds, well, there's 2 of you.
Gotcha.
You want to use AAA, want to use AA. But whatever. So he won it as a freshman, and then he...
I believe he was a Golden Gloves champ, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, potentially. Then he quit. He quit school, and he focused on like making the Olympics. And in 2016, he was in the Olympic trials finals. That means the match to make the Olympic team. And I believe he was 18 years old.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He then, after that, signed with Bellator. I do believe they mismanaged his career tremendously.
Yes.
He ended up losing his debut fight by like just fighting someone just too much experience.
Yeah, they didn't do it right at all. Like, they should have known they had a star with him, and like you said, they just mismanaged his career.
Yeah, they just mismanaged his career, but he's absolutely phenomenal, and that Evloev fight is going to be like, I am so looking forward to that.
So okay. Just in case anyone might
His
be
striking coach is 6 guns.
Well, I was about to say, if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, so he's just like a monster wrestler. No, dude. This guy loves to strike.
No. He knocks people out
Yes.
all the time. He's got a nasty left hook to the body. Everybody should be watching out for that. Just, yeah.
And like you said, he's training with 6 Gun, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with 6 Gun, that's John Jones' striking coach. He coached Cowboy for a while. Carlos Condit, Holly Holm, like everyone like in that area.
Like Jackson Wink, like
he
was very instrumental in that. He's still John Jones' coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But just so everyone knows, he's got high level striking and he's super, super exciting.
Yeah, Pico, yeah.
Yeah, Pico is. So I'm super fired up about this fight because I think he can force Evloev to stand at least somewhat.
I'm taking Pico.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'm taking Pico.
I'd be willing to bet the odds are going to be like really favorable for those of us who think that Pico's going to win too. So,
Dude, I hope. I
yeah.
can't wait for those odds to come out. That fight's in May.
so
That fight's May 17th.
So the last I saw of that, or like of just Pico talking in general, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not out of my contract yet because PFL has I think it was like a right to match or something like that," and so they were like negotiating. And a lot of times the UFC will be kind of like open about. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're looking to sign." Maybe not actually. I'm thinking about it, but like, I knew nothing about it, had heard nothing about it other than that, and then all of a sudden, boom, fight
Announced.
So fired up for that. Like again, if you guys haven't seen Pico fight before, or you like. Just maybe like it's not on your radar. This is a fight that should be on your radar. This is really exciting.
Yeah. I'm super pumped for it. Yeah, heir to the throne, future featherweight champ, Aaron Pico, bringing wrestling back. All right, cool. All right, so back to the Volk Diego Lopez fight. Let's just get into it. Let's make our picks. Volk. Alexander Volkanovski. Man, I have this like weird thing playing in my head of him like coming back to after getting knocked out. Right? Like I have it like playing in my head where he's just like coming, like he gets knocked out and he's like waking up and like realizing like that he's lost and kind of like coming to terms with like the time has passed.
Right.
But I don't want that to happen, so I'm not taking it. Give me the return to the throne for Alexander Volkanovski.
I love that pick. I'm picking against it. I'm going Diego.
Okay.
Max, who you got?
Lopez supremacy, dude. I'm taking Diego.
Okay. Max, how many of your 20 units are you putting on Diego Lopez?
He's only got 19 now.
I don't know.
Or 19
I mean,
units.
yeah.
All 19?
The problem is I really enjoy my parlays.
Dude, he's coming in as a dog. You go all 19 on him.
There's no way those numbers are right.
Why wouldn't Diego Lopez be the underdog in this?
I mean, I think
Volk's one of the all-timers.
I think
Diego Lopez should be an underdog.
I don't think that's like
he's
not
like a
right.
middle
I think
grade.
that's,
He's like a middle of the road journeyman.
I think that those odds are probably accurate. I just thought that more people would be favoring Lopez and putting.
People probably aren't betting yet. It's just Monday.
Yeah, that's what I'm expect. I think those are going to change. So
you're
I'm
going to bet a favorite, bet him early, and if you're going to bet a dog, bet him late. That's the rule of thumb. That's the general gambler's rule of thumb. Because why is that the rule of thumb? Is because money usually comes in on the favorite, which pushes the favorite to be an even bigger favorite, and it usually pushes and therefore the underdog to be an even bigger underdog. Case in point, that's the general rule of thumb. That's what before you were able to gamble on MMA. That's like the old school gambler guys rule of thumb. And case in point,
Emmett.
I took Josh Emmett on Thursday at plus 250 as the dog, and by fight time he was plus 270.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Why do you think Diego Lopez is going to win, Max? Why do you think he has it in him?
Well, I think for the longest time, even when Volkanovski was like the reigning champ, he was really good at everything, but his biggest weakness was that he was chinny. He would get caught a lot, and it never really caused him any problems until the Islam fight. And now he's getting, caught in consecutive fights by, the first one was the shin, but I think that Lopez's boxing is significantly better than his. I think Lopez can probably get touched up. I'd be surprised if Lopez won like a 3-2 round decision. I think Lopez is probably going to get touched up a little bit, but eventually he's going to be able to back him up and find one of those shots that either finishes it or puts him down. And then if he jumps on Volk on the ground, I think that he's going to be able to submit him there. I just think Lopez is going to be able to find a finish.
Man, you think that Lopez has better jiu-jitsu than Brian Ortega?
Or Craig Jones?
Or Craig Jones?
I think he's got better. I think that his jiu-jitsu in MMA is better than Ortega. I don't think it's better than Craig Jones, but I think that his ability to finish with jiu-jitsu and MMA right now is better than Ortega. I think he has a more diverse set of attacks in MMA. I think that he's shown that.
I've never seen him do anything from top. Submission-wise.
Well, yeah, usually if he's on top, it's because he already scrambled your brains and he's just beating your head in.
Okay, so you just think it. You have no like data to back it up. You've never seen him like pass a guard or like go to a mounted guillotine like Sean Brady, like
drop on a heel hook.
Think about watching Sean Brady.
Yeah, no, Sean Brady's a very like control.
But the control leads to submissions.
Yeah,
because think about it. In
leads
this
to
last fight, he had that like what do they call that position? Like reverse, whatever. It's a half guard, and he's like looking for a Kimura. If you just defend that Kimura, he's going single arm guillotine. Like he's constantly hunting submissions.
Yeah, but that's after.
Which leads him to better positions, which also leads you to TKOs. So my take on this is there's a difference in between like getting on top and TKOing someone due to striking or TKOing someone due to jiu-jitsu, right? And like I don't think like if someone on top like TKOs you on top after they dropped you,
right?
They have better jiu-jitsu than you. I think if someone passes your guard, mounts you, and then TKOs you, that's a sign of better jiu-jitsu.
I agree.
Right? And that's why it's mixed martial arts, because jiu-jitsu, like you can win,
right?
like with someone can be better than you at things and you can still beat them.
Exactly.
I think that I agree with that. I mean, I think that your opinion there is definitely like more important, but I think that's right. I don't think that Lopez is going to like shoot a single, crack down into a pass there. I think he's going to catch him on the feet and then jump on him, and Volk's just going to be he's 36 now. He's not going to have the recoverability that he used to.
That's
like he
kinda
used
how
to
I
get
feel
dropped a
about it.
lot.
I mean, we saw Volk mounted by Ortega. See, here's the thing, like
after getting dropped by Ortega. If Ortega's dropping you, like I don't know, man.
no, he was in a guillotine and he bailed to his back off the guillotine.
But he got dropped by a straight left, and then Ortega jumped on the guillotine.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like it came off the guillotine. Like it wasn't like Ortega mounted him from the drop. It was the guillotine escape, which is why he got mounted.
I don't remember it well enough.
Ortega went on a guillotine, correct?
He dropped him, and then he jumped into a mounted guillotine.
Into a mounted guillotine.
Into a mounted
He
guillotine.
didn't jump into like a high guillotine and then Volk dropped back.
He
to
jumped onto a mounted guillotine.
Granted, I don't feel super strongly about it, but that's how I actually remember it too.
Yeah, dude, I gotta see it because I can't I can't picture how it's like possible.
I thought he was like kind of on all fours, and he grabbed it and like hipped in.
You guys go for a sec. I'll pull it up.
I don't know.
Okay,
It doesn't
yeah.
really matter, to be honest. Everything you said up until like the jiu-jitsu stuff, that's how I see it going. I think Diego Lopez just cracks on at some point standing.
So you're saying that Volk was laying on his back and Ortega jumped in the mount and grabbed the guillotine.
The way I remember is he got dropped and he's on kind of like all fours and like
So like Volk's like shooting in style.
I don't think he shot. I think he just like was down and like starting to stand up. That's how I remember it.
So the
I could be
guillotine was
very
applied
wrong.
from the mount or from the front headlock or
From
from
front headlock.
standing front. Okay, so then that's definitely not a mounted guillotine. I'm just gonna say that.
But then he like jumped. You know what I mean? Like he.
Yeah,
was,
and then he drove it into
Yeah,
mount.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
how I remember it. Again, I could be wrong about it because
Here we go.
Oh, sick. What was the fight that I was like, oh, I think it happened like, the 12-6 John Jones elbows.
Here we go,
I
here we go,
remember
here we
that
go.
Super wrong.
Oh yeah, I would call that jumping into a mounted guillotine.
So he like
but
Volk
Volk's
starts
definitely
to build
sitting
up.
up into the legs to like he gets dropped, sits up into the legs to like wrestle,
Yeah.
and then he gets hipped down.
Yeah,
into a mounted
like he
guillotine.
starts coming up, and Ortega just pounces on him.
I forgot how wild this moment was. Dude, Volk's such a... I love Volk.
Such a beast. Like watch this, dude. He's mounted by Brian Ortega.
It was deep.
Dude,
in that
just
guillotine.
straight up elbow escape. Straight up
Dude.
fundamental jiu-jitsu.
Yup.
Super solid elbow escape. Now watch this. Hold on. Up to the single leg.
Bro.
To the top, bro. Get out of here, dude. Volk all the way. Give it to me. That's what I needed right there. That seals the deal for
Here's the
me.
deal. If it stays standing, I got
Look
Diego.
at this.
If it hits
Look
the
at
ground,
this.
I got Volk.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
All right, let's keep it moving. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about one fight forever. What's the co-main of this?
Co-main is Michael Chandler, Patty Pimblett.
Dude,
5
I
rounds too.
cannot
5
believe-
rounds.
this is a 5-rounder.
5 rounder.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dude. I don't know.
Michael Chandler.
Oh, man.
I'm taking Michael Chandler. And I'm putting units on it.
Oh, man.
I'm putting units plural.
You know
on
what? I
Michael
need
Chandler.
some analysis. Mike, why do you have Chandler? It's probably the same reasons why I'm thinking.
He's super explosive. He's been in like 5-round fights 100 times. Has Patty Pimblett been in a 5-round fight?
I don't think he's
Not in the
completed one.
UFC. I don't know if he has in
He
Cage Warriors or
notoriously
not.
cuts ridiculous
Right.
amounts of
Oh,
weight.
yeah, that's gonna-
How's that going to wear on your body
And
in
also,
rounds
like,
4 and 5?
dude-
Chandler's been in round 5 with Charles Oliveira.
And I was about to say, if Oliveira can't finish you, I don't think Pimblett can. Now, granted, Patty has surprised me in the past with being better than I thought he was. But again, there's levels. You know what I mean? And
Who's challenged Patty in the UFC? Who's gave him tough fights?
Jared Gordon.
Yeah. Jared Gordon. I think Jared Gordon won that fight.
I can't remember it well enough, but I remember it being like very disputed.
Yeah. So, but regardless, I mean, like that's
Yeah.
a challenging
Chandler,
fight.
Chandler, yeah, for sure. Chandler. Wow, and a dog too. Yeah, Max, who you got?
I am going with Patty, but
Okay.
I'm not 100% confident. This isn't one that I'm like, I have a
Here's an interesting take.
foolproof argument. I'm just like, I have my ideas.
Since being in the UFC, who is the worst person Michael Chandler has fought?
Dan Hooker.
Huh?
Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker.
Well, no, when he fought him, Tony.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Fair play. Fair play
yeah.
on Tony. Okay. Let's disregard Tony because
It's an outlier.
everybody knows it's a special
And
circumstance.
Patty fought him too, so you can like disregard him from both of their
Right.
records.
So the
here.
worst person Michael Chandler fought was Dan Hooker. Who is the best person Patty Pimblett has fought?
Bobby Green.
Bobby Green, yeah.
Who's better, Dan Hooker or Bobby Green?
That's a good point.
The worst person Chandler has fought is better than the best person Patty Pimblett has fought.
And also, okay, this is gonna sound mean, and it is mean, whatever. But Michael Chandler, like he'll like kind of get hurt, but he never really seems like he's like out of it. You know what I mean? And I get the feeling, whatever. This is gonna sound mean. It is what it is. I get the feeling he's not like the brightest dude in the world, and I kind of have a theory that those dudes are harder to finish.
I get your theory. I don't know anything about his intelligence.
I could be wrong.
I know a handful of people who know him, and no one says anything bad about him who knows him.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he comes off as being a little insufferable through the screen.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
But I don't want to be unjustly mean to a fighter who's, clearly.
I mean,
really
we
good.
have some friends who are insufferable,
That's fair enough, dude.
but you wouldn't say they're a bad person. We have, I know that we have some friends who are 100% insufferable, but you would never say they're a bad person.
No, that's a good point. I don't think he's a bad person. I just think that, like.
You think he's a bad person.
No. I
You think he's a dumbass. You said that he's a dumbass.
I didn't say that. I would say that he is.
I like him. He wrestled at Missouri.
I
stuff
think
his
he's gonna
nails.
win.
I like him. Okay, here goes. Dustin Poirier versus Patty Pimblett. Who wins?
Oh, Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin.
Why are you so sure? That's crazy.
Because Dustin's a great fighter.
Yeah, and Dustin and Michael Chandler was a dogfight.
Dude, I'm agreeing with you. Chandler's going to win.
I don't think that it's 100. I wasn't that certain. I think if Dustin
You
and
told
Patty
me you're
fought,
putting at least 6 units on Patty Pimblett.
Wait. Back up.
I'm
You're
not
not that
sure.
certain that Dustin would destroy Patty?
current Dustin,
Yes, current
Yeah.
Dustin. Is there any difference between current Dustin and the best ever Dustin?
I think the best ever Dustin beats the shit out of Patty.
He's not that far.
Is he that far
No,
off
he's
of
not.
it?
I think he could still do it. I would still absolutely bet on Dustin. I'm just saying that.
My thing
I
with
could see him
Dustin, let's
getting
take a second to
cut
talk about
more.
Dustin. Like, okay, what? He got knocked out by Gaethje, right? Like, okay, motherfuckers get knocked out sometimes. You know what I mean?
Also, Gaethje, dude. Like,
sometimes you get kicked in the head,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's just, like, you go in there enough times, you're going to get kicked in the head, you know? And sometimes when you get kicked in the head, sometimes you get knocked out, right?
and
Like,
Khabib tapped you? Like,
yeah.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
oh.
Like, I don't think Justin Gaethje, like, it's like the best version of Dustin Poirier is right now. Like, I think he's like, give me the evidence that he's fallen off.
To play devil's advocate, you could say that his chin could be diminishing.
Well, I
but,
mean,
like,
it's naturally going to be, but give me evidence that he's falling off.
precisely. It doesn't.
What, getting kicked in the back of the head by Justin Gaethje? Right? You know what I mean? Which, I would like to take a second to talk about getting kicked in the back of the head. So people posting pictures like, oh, I got kicked in the back of the head. That should be legal.
dude?
You're
Okay.
facing him.
Let's take.
If I'm facing you and I can hit you in the back of the head while facing forward into you, that is on you. Also, number one. Number two, I know it is legal because something just needs to touch the ear.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if the
yeah,
foot
yeah.
wraps around, the foot wraps around, the shin's on the ear.
Dude, okay. Also, I think I saw maybe on Instagram that someone was talking about how back of the head strike should be legal or whatever. I don't think that's the case, but only on the ground. If you're standing and you get hit in the back of the head, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, and what you said too is totally true. If it touches the ear and wraps around, that's automatically legal as well. But anyways, let's get back to it, dude. The more I'm thinking about this, the more Patty Pimblett has no chance of beating Chandler, and he has even less of a chance of beating Dustin Poirier. Max, you're crazy.
He absolutely has less of a chance of beating Poirier than he does of beating Chandler. I agree with that.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys think that? I don't think that.
You actually did change my mind a little bit. I think that the current version of Dustin is like best suited to deal with someone like Patty because his grappling defense is much better than it used to be. That's the big thing.
Here goes a hot take. Or, I mean, I don't know if it's a hot take. Dustin Poirier could have the best takedowns in MMA because his boxing sets up takedown like, dude, like if he like wanted to like just like he was like, you know what, I changed my whole life approach. I want takedowns. And he didn't change anything about his striking. Dude, he could spam takedowns. Takedowns are what he creates so much opening to the hips. Like, yeah, if you just copy Dustin Poirier's striking, like if you can copy that, you can just like, and then like just develop an ability to explode out of one spot. Like you can take anybody down.
Dude, if he just decides to do what Gaethje does, and it's just like, all right, get into the end of my career, I'm gonna just start blasting takedowns.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he'll take everyone down.
Dude, yeah, like his like, dude, he creates. It'd be like someone in wrestling like having like the sickest hand fighting, but being like, yeah, but I'll shoot.
Okay,
Like, dude, like, bro, these takedowns are wide open. Like, you are literally the greatest like setup guy ever.
okay, so stylistically, this is totally different, but the theory is still the same. Can you imagine if Pernell Whitaker's like style of boxing, like if he just decided to start blasting double legs, like
Who's stopping it?
it's available all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, his style is different from Dustin's, and it's mechanically different how that happens.
All right, let's go down the card. Is there anything else we want to talk about on this card? Oh, Bryce.
Yes, dude. Jean Silva is about to send Bryce Mitchell back to wherever he was when Emmett put him out.
Okay, guys, I'm taking Bryce Mitchell.
I'm going Silva. Going with my heart.
Are you actually taking Bryce Mitchell?
I am actually taking Bryce Mitchell.
Can I ask why?
I just think he's going to win this fight.
Okay. All right.
Like, I think he's clearly.
He definitely has a path to like Max. Your attitude is wrong.
He has a path to victory.
Yeah, and he's really good.
I'm literally just clarifying
ranked?
he's
Is he
actually
ranked?
taking
Is he a ranked fighter?
who, Silva or Bryce?
Bryce.
I think Bryce is in the top 15.
I mean, he should be. I mean, unless they deranked him because of his
Craziness.
statement. Yeah. I mean, like, that'd be the only, because he was ranked when he beat Crone. So, like, how would he?
Yeah, he's ranked 13 right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Dude, I'm taking Silva, and I think that he gets another violent knockout.
are you taking him by knockout then?
Not for our purposes. For our purposes, I'm saying he's going to win. But perhaps I'll put a unit on him winning by...
No, that's what I'm asking. Are you going to put a unit on him winning by knockout?
Maybe. I don't know. I gotta check the odds on it.
And Max, you're taking Bryce Mitchell also?
I'm gonna take Silva on this one.
All right.
All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, dude, this
What?
is a banger.
Well, I didn't know this fight was on this card. That's crazy.
I thought this was undercard, actually.
Well, we got Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull, one of the Pitbull brothers. This version of the Pitbull brothers, was the featherweight and lightweight champion in Bellator. Yeah, so this is a featherweight fight. It's going to be interesting. I feel like a lot of people probably aren't expecting Patricio Pitbull to do well, based off of him being like a Bellator fighter and that kind of like looking like, you know, a slight. But what we're going to see is that PFL Bellator insurgents, they do have really good fighters. You're going to see it with Patricio Pitbull. Now, I'm not sold he's going to win this fight, but you're going to see that he is a caliber fighter here. You're going to see that Aaron Pico is a caliber fighter. And you already saw that Michael Chandler was a caliber fighter. So
Now, I do think that Rodriguez wins this, but I also think you're right. I think
I'm taking Yair.
Pitbull's better than people think. And it's a bummer. Like, if the odds were slightly like if he was a bigger dog, it's like, oh, that's enticing. But yeah, I mean, I think Rodriguez wins.
You know what would make this show better? If I like cared about MMA. Bro, I'm just thinking about how much like I like pay attention to wrestling and like know all these stats about wrestling. And I'm like, if I cared about MMA like how I cared about wrestling, I would just have like, I'm just like a wealth of information. I just store information in my head. Like that's what I do.
I know
I just store it. But like I like use no MMA. I'm just like,
I know we had that one clip where I couldn't contain it because you were just so checked out from it. But dude, there's so many times we're recording where I just look over at you and you're just like, I can just tell in your head you're like, wish this was wrestling. Like, you just like don't
That's what I'm
care about
thinking right
MMA.
now. Well, I just wish that I like loved this like I loved wrestling, because then there'd be so much more like knowledge spent, like being able to be sent out to.
It's part of what makes
anybody
it
who's
fun,
partaking
though.
in this. It is part, but like I think it'd be more fun if I was like, yeah, and his uncle's name's Bob, and then he had, dude, and his cousin Jacob has 3 pinky toes on his left foot.
And when he went to elementary school, he wrestled a dog every day.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
All right, Max, who you got in this fight?
I got Rodriguez here. I
Right
think
on.
Pitbull's definitely like a live dog, but I think the age and plus his, like I was looking at
I
his
love that
stats.
terminology, live dog.
His like stats here, he's got a lower takedown average and accuracy than Yair. Like if you're not shooting on Yair, you're not doing well, you know.
And also, dude, so look at all those
You're
fights.
right.
Look at all those fights, and it's not like those were just like him just walking through dudes. He's had some wars, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, unfortunately, that catches up to you, and it's a bummer we didn't get him in the UFC earlier. Let's move on. Oh. That's kind of how I feel as well, dude.
All right, so we got Nikita Krylov fighting Dominic Reyes. That's happening this weekend. Next. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson.
Dude, this is sick.
Let's go. Sean Woodson is wild, dude. He is just, dude, he's such a good boxer. Dan Ige, as Max would say, is a live dog.
Oh, dude, I'm taking Ige.
I'm taking Ige.
Yeah.
I might take Ige, and if he wins the first round, I'll probably cash out the profit and put it on Woodson.
But only if he drops him.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Dan Ige in this fight. I think he's a super live dog.
Yeah.
Sean Woodson's 13-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will he just be winning?
Yeah. He just be winning, bro.
Damn,
That's what he
go
does.
ahead. Good for him.
But yeah, dude, Danny Ige, I think is better. Yeah, I mean that's really all there is to it. Max, who you got?
I'm taking Ige. I'm curious. I'm interested to see what his game plan is going to be because the size discrepancy is so.
It's gonna be fast.
I mean, it's got to be something like that, but he doesn't. I'm just interested to see what he. I feel like he's got the savvy to do it. I'm just curious to see what it looks like. You know
Woodson
what I
has
mean?
good timing. And he's super long, but he's not that fast. So
All right, let's see what's next. No. Oh, Chase Hooper, Jim Miller.
whoa,
Dude, this card is
Yo!
low-key crazy.
Dude.
Hold on a second.
look
Hold
at
on
the
a
odds,
What?
bro.
What?
Bro.
Yo, Vegas said that Jim Miller's a dead dog.
Dude.
They're out of here. Jim Miller's running out of. Whoa, I just spit.
Okay,
Jim Miller, they got Jim Miller running at a plus 600. Bro,
you gotta ask yourself:
is anybody not putting a unit on that? Like,
you have to,
dude, a 6-unit turn?
Dude, and honestly, these odds are so crazy. I think
First
I might
off, these
go-
are ESPN bet odds, which
Yeah.
you can't trust them.
That's true.
You can't. I've exposed them several times. I'm like, those aren't the odds, and then Max pulls up the real thing, and we're like, yeah, it wasn't even close.
Well, did you see that ESPN show? And they were talking about, they're like, yo, Mike Wilkins from Listen to Your Coaches, he exposed our odds. But no, dude, think about, okay, hold on. First off, I'm going to go against your advice. If on DraftKings he is close to a plus 600, I might just have to lock that in because I feel like that's got to.
No. Yeah. Oh, I'm locking it in because I can't risk it. Here goes what you can do, though. Also, you don't have to go a full unit. You can put a half unit.
And then
you can do another half unit later if it
Good
jumps.
thinking. But okay, but hold on. This is what I was going to get to. Okay, so Mike, you're an MMA coach. You
I'm an
understand
MMA
MMA.
coach.
You know
I understand
jiu-jitsu.
MMA.
Okay.
A little bit.
How does Chase Hooper win this fight?
Long rangy, stays on the outside, pops him up. Any grappling exchange gets turned into a scramble using the length to kind of like keep it like in like a submission shoot off. Like he's not gonna go out. I am expecting that he's not gonna go out there taking Jim Miller down. I do expect Jim Miller to attempt to take Chase Hooper down. So Chase Hooper should be off these takedowns, you know, threatening the neck, maybe like Kimura traps.
So would you say that like
to like roll it through back to the feet off the submission attempt that kind of nullifies any successful takedown?
and if he does get a submission, it would be like in transition, Miller gets kind of like quote unquote caught. Like that
if
kind
I'm
of a
going to be
thing.
honest with you, I can't see Jim Miller getting submitted without being rocked first.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. But okay, can we agree that Hooper's main tool is his jiu-jitsu, right?
No, we cannot agree.
Okay.
In this fight, his main tool is going to be striking.
No, not in this fight. In general.
In general, jiu-jitsu is his highest level skill set.
Right. And Jim Miller, we've seen him strike with good strikers. We've seen him do jiu-jitsu with good jiu-jitsu guys, and we've seen him wrestle with good wrestlers.
Yeah, but we did just watch Chase Hooper whoop Clay Guida.
I actually didn't watch that fight. But
Dude.
also, okay,
Dude, it was a whooping.
okay, all respect to Clay Guida, but I
It
don't
was
think
a good old-fashioned New England whooping.
whooping. Here's the thing. All respect to Clay Guida, I don't think he's aged as well in the sport as Jim Miller has.
Agreed.
I think that this is a great fight to put a unit on Jim Miller. Perhaps, like you said,
I'm putting a unit on
cost
Jim Miller.
average into
I
it.
might think Chase Hooper is going to win this fight. I might think that. I'm still putting a unit on.
Yeah, dude, those odds are just ridiculous.
The
Okay,
odds on DraftKings right now, because that's what we're using for the unit betting. DraftKings has Jim Miller plus 525 and
Close
Chase
enough.
Hooper at
Lock it
minus
in.
750.
Close enough.
So
as
pretty
soon as
close.
the show's done.
Close enough.
Okay, so with that said, with our just like LTYC, who do we think is going to win? No odds involved.
Chase Hooper.
Interesting. I'm still going to take Jim Miller.
I'm really tight on this one.
It sucks because I'm rooting for Jim Miller.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think Chase Hooper. I do think the safe bet is with Chase. Like, I think Chase Hooper is going to win the fight.
Yeah. No.
Are you taking Hooper too?
No, I'm taking Miller.
You're taking Miller?
Yeah.
So if Jim Miller was coming out at minus 110, would you put a unit on him?
No. Our just like who
I
I
know.
think's gonna win. I'm doing that with my
I'm just
heart.
asking.
And betting wise, I'm getting him because of that. Yeah. This is nothing to do with like smarts.
If it was even money, would you just wouldn't put a unit down? You wouldn't make a bet.
Correct.
If Jim Miller was a plus 200.
Around there, I'd probably start thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it. All right, move us. I know there's one more fight we want to talk about. Oh, Darren Elkins, Julian Erosa. Good one. Man, the damage. He's 40 years old. He just fought, what was that fight? He fought on the same, I believe it was the same card as Holloway, Topuria, the same card that had Ige, Lerone Murphy on. I believe Elkins fought Daniel Pineda on that card because they were both 40 and 39.
Bro, you're developing the memory for it.
So you got the opponent right, but it was I think a week before that card. It was October 19th on the Hernandez and I believe that was the Michel Pereira card.
Bro, that's crazy.
Dude, in 3 more months, you're gonna know everything about MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I watched fights for 2 weeks and I remembered everybody's life story.
I don't have a pick for this.
I mean, I'm going Darren Elkins.
I'll take Erosa just so we can.
Whoa, Erosa's a huge favorite.
Yeah.
You know what? No pick. No pick. We're not
I'm
making
good with
picks.
no pick on this.
No picks. No picks.
All right, keep it moving.
All right, that's enough.
Fun fight though. I just want to see who else is on here. If there's anyone else that we.
Trace Sean Gore.
Yeah, I feel like we gotta give any more picks. All
Yep,
right.
that's good. Those are these fights. Okay, all right.
Okay. If we have time, there is one other topic.
What time is it? 3:49. I have to go right now.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, guys, that was this week's episode of Listen to Your Coaches. We'll catch you next time. Bye.